To understand the world of Henry Fielding's The History of Tom Jones, a Foundling, you have to imagine an 18th century England that is deeply obsessed with two things: what people look like on the surface and where they came from. In this world, your reputation is your currency, and your lineage is your destiny. But Fielding, writing in 1749, wanted to shake up that rigid structure. He wanted to ask a question that still feels relevant today: is a person's goodness defined by their social standing and their religious posturing, or is it something deeper, something innate that lives inside them regardless of their mistakes? The story begins with a moment of profound mystery. Squire Allworthy, a wealthy and benevolent gentleman, finds an infant abandoned at his doorstep. In the social climate of the time, this is a scandal. A foundling is a mark of shame, a sign of a broken moral code. Yet, Allworthy is a man of high principles, and he decides to raise the boy, whom he names Tom Jones, as his own. As Tom grows up in the Allworthy household, we see that the house is actually a web of secrets and social tensions. Allworthy's sister, Miss Bridget, is a woman who maintains a facade of impeccable virtue, but she views the boy's mysterious origins with constant suspicion and disdain. Meanwhile, the housekeeper, Mrs. Deborah Wilkins, turns into something of a private investigator, obsessed with uncovering the truth about Tom's mother. Eventually, the truth comes out. The mother was a local girl named Jenny Jones. While it's a human story of a mistake, in the eyes of the community, it's a stain that follows Tom everywhere. This brings us to the first major conflict of the novel, the clash between genuine character and social performance. To understand this, we have to look at the Bleafills. First, there is Captain Bleafill, who marries Bridget and seems to fit the mould of the successful gentleman. But he dies relatively early in the story. The real antagonist, however, is his son, Master Bleafill. He is the one who seems to have everything right by the standards of the day. He is religious, he is polite, and he is calculating. Master Bleafill is the perfect foil for Tom. While Tom is impulsive, loud, and often makes messy mistakes, Bleafill is polished, calm, and perfectly follows the rules of social decorum. But as we will see, Bleafill's outward virtue is a mask for a profound lack of actual morality. As Tom enters manhood, he becomes a man of great contradictions. He has what Fielding calls an active principle, an instinctive driving urge to do good. He is incredibly charitable, often giving away things he shouldn't, like a horse or a Bible, just to help someone in need. However, he lacks propriety. He doesn't know how to navigate the rules of the world. This makes him a target. He is constantly being judged by people like Thwackum, a religious tutor who believes that any impulse not strictly controlled by religious dogma is a sin. Tom's romantic life is where these contradictions really cause trouble. He finds himself involved with Molly Seagram, a young woman from a much lower social class. Tom feels a sense of responsibility for her after a sexual encounter, and his desire to do the right thing by her keeps him tied to her, even though he is clearly in love with someone else. That someone else is Sophia Weston, the beautiful and spirited daughter of Squire Weston. Sophia is not a passive character. She is a woman who wants to maintain her own agency and integrity in a world that tries to treat women like property, to be traded in marriage. Her romance with Tom is intense and real, but it is constantly thwarted by the chaos of their social circumstances. The turning point for Tom comes when his reputation is weaponized against him. Master Bleafill, seeing an opportunity to secure Sophia's fortune for himself, begins a campaign of character assassination. He is a master of the social misunderstanding. He manages to catch Tom in a compromising position, seen in a thicket with a woman, and uses that single moment of human weakness to paint Tom as a debauched rogue. Master Bleafill's manipulation is incredibly effective. He knows how to speak the language of the elite. He appeals to Allworthy's sense of propriety and uses religious rhetoric to make Tom's behaviour seem like a sign of a rotten soul. Even Allworthy, for all his benevolence, is swayed. He cannot reconcile the boy he raised with the scandalous man Bleafill describes. In a moment of profound error, Allworthy banishes Tom, cutting him off from his home and his inheritance. Tom's life then turns into a series of trials. He becomes a wanderer, a man without a country or a name, drifting through a landscape that feels both vast and claustrophobic. He faces the threat of being pressed into naval service, he's attacked by soldiers, and he eventually finds himself penniless in London. During these travels, Fielding gives us a fascinating philosophical encounter with the man of the hill. This is a misanthrope who believes that human nature is inherently corrupt, and that society is just a way to hide our true ugly selves. Tom, despite everything he has suffered, argues the opposite. He argues that even in a world of chaos, there is a fundamental goodness that persists. While Tom is struggling to survive in the streets of London, the truth is finally beginning to unravel in the upper echelons of society. It turns out that the world is much smaller and more interconnected than anyone realized. A lawyer named Dowling uncovers the web of lies that Master Bleefil has been spinning. It is revealed that Tom is not just some random foundling, he is actually Allworthy's own nephew, the son of Allworthy's late sister. This means Tom is not a social outcast, but a member of the family. Furthermore, the true nature of the villains is exposed through deathbed confessions. We learn that Master Bleefil's virtue was entirely performative. Even Mrs. Blifil, the widow of the captain, is revealed to be a hypocrite. She shows more genuine affection for the scandalous Tom than she does for her own biological son. The ending of the novel is a grand restoration of order. The truth dismantles the lies, and the social hierarchy is reset, but this time it is a hierarchy based on actual merit rather than just appearances. Allworthy reconciles with his true kin, Tom's lineage is validated, and he is finally able to marry Sophia Weston. The story concludes with the two of them living a life of prosperity and happiness, proving that while passion can lead to mistakes, a core of genuine goodness can lead to redemption. When we look back at Tom Jones, it's easy to see why it's considered a foundational work of the English novel. Fielding wasn't just telling a story about a man's adventures, he was building a panoramic view of an entire society. One of the most interesting things to think about is Fielding's concept of the active principle. In modern terms, we might call it a moral compass. Tom Jones is a flawed protagonist. He is often impulsive, he is frequently lustful, and he makes decisions that are socially disastrous. In many other novels of that era, a character like Tom would be a villain or a cautionary tale. But Fielding asks us to look past the propriety of his actions to the intent behind them. Tom's mistakes usually stem from a desire to do good or an inability to control a natural impulse, whereas Bleefil's actions stem from a calculated desire to do harm for personal gain. Fielding is making a profound argument that true virtue is found in the heart, not in the adherence to social etiquette or the outward performance of religion. This leads directly into the central theme of appearance versus reality. The novel is obsessed with the gap between what people show the world and who they actually are. Master Bleefil is the master of this. He uses the language of morality to mask a predatory nature. He is the gentleman who is actually a thief of opportunity. On the other hand, Tom is the rogue who is actually a man of integrity. This tension creates a world where you can never quite trust what you see. It's a critique of a society that values the mask more than the face. We also see a deep exploration of social class and merit. The 18th century was a time of rigid structures where your birth almost entirely determined your life. Fielding uses Tom's journey to challenge this. By making the foundling actually a member of the upper class, he provides a way for the story to end happily, but the real victory is in the moral argument. The book suggests that a person's worth should be measured by their actions and their character, not by the circumstances of their birth or the labels society places upon them. Finally, there is the role of reputation. In the world of Tom Jones, gossip is a powerful, almost physical force. It can build a person up, or, as we see with Tom, it can utterly destroy them. The way information travels, through whispers in a drawing room or through the judgments of a local housekeeper, shows how much power the talk of the town holds over an individual's life. It's a reminder of how difficult it is to live an authentic life when you are constantly being watched and judged by a community that is often more interested in scandal than truth. Ultimately, the history of Tom Jones, a foundling, is a sprawling, messy, and deeply human book. It doesn't offer easy answers, and it doesn't pretend that being a good person is a simple task. Instead, it shows us that being good is a constant struggle between our highest ideals and our most basic impulses. It's a story about finding one's way through a world of masks, pretending that if we just keep moving, keep helping, and keep being true to that active principle inside us, we might eventually find our way home.